This is Matt Tripodi. For his entire life, Matt has been a music enthusiast. From 2005 to 2007, Matt attended the Institute of Audio Research in New York City and has been gearing his effort toward a new career in audio engineering and production. He frequently showcases his music in the live setting and has set up an impressive studio space in the basement of his own home. He is here today to share with us his knowledge about music production and his plans for the future.
Thank you for joining us for today's edition of Person to Person. I am your host, Amin. Today in the studio, we have an aspiring producer, Matt Tripodi. How are you today, Matt?
Doing good. How you doing?
I'm fine, thank you. Well, to start off, can you explain to us your process of creating music?
All right. Well, basically, I start from scratch. I have nothing. I'll start off with an idea in my head, kind of either style-wise or just what kind of sounds, instruments I want to use. I'll usually start off on a program called Reason, and I'll use my MIDI keyboard, start making a drum beat, then I'll add on some bass, keyboards, guitar, whatever fits, and I just kind of go with it. I'll keep going, then I'll go into production. After that, once the song's actually done, then I mix it and master it, and then it's done.
Well, what is MIDI and how do you use it? What is MIDI and how do you use it?
MIDI actually stands for Musical Instrument Digital Interface, and it's a protocol that transforms musical performance into data that a computer can read, play back, and edit. So instead of just having, recording of the audio that's there, it has the note that you hit, tells you how hard you hit it, how long you played it for, and you could actually go in, edit that note, move it, change how hard it's played, change what note it is, change what's set on that note. So you can go in, take out a note, add a note, make a note louder. You could completely take out the sound and put in a sample where a note would be, so you're actually using the keyboard as a sampler.
All right. Well, can you explain your setup for playing live?
When I play live, there's a big process I have to go through. It's a lot different than just making the songs and performing them live. You can't just go out and press play, and you can't just go out and start playing. First thing I got to do is I got to decide on a set list that I want to play. So I decide the songs I want to play, the order, if I want to segue in, if I might have to set that up. And then I got to go through and decide what do I want to play with each song. So some songs will call for just playing keyboards the whole time. And then I'll go into the song, I'll take out the keyboards so it's not in there when it's playing, and I'll actually play that part live. Some songs call for me going back and forth from bass to keyboard usually. And what I'll do there, say I want to play the bass line for the first part of the song, I'll take out the bass line there so I have it playing, and then I decide the exact moment when I want to switch from bass to keyboards. So I'll have the bass line pick up and the keyboards drop out at the switch, so it seamlessly goes right as I put the bass down and go to keyboards.
Well, in your opinion, why is the relationship between music and technology so important?
Well, it's really more important than ever today, because especially most of the main music that's coming out today is technology based. A lot of it's not even real instruments. A lot of it's just made on computers with MIDI keyboards. A lot of the hip hop that's going around, and even some of the other stuff, is made up primarily of samples and things like that. So it calls directly on technology, and what's really big right now is production. And you can do things with computers as far as production that you can never do otherwise. And that's really, it makes the world a difference, because it extends the creative process and just fine-tunes everything even better than you could do without it.
Well, can you talk about some of the equipment that you use?
Yeah. Obviously, the most important is going to be the laptop, because that's everything. Everything's being run into there. All the mixing, production, mastering, everything's being done right on there, and that's where all the programs are. And basically, I use a MIDI keyboard. It's probably the main thing. The MIDI keyboard is the main thing I'll be using. Oh yeah. Sorry. A remote control to everything I'm doing. This has no actual sounds or any data in it. All the sounds and all the information and everything I use, everything that comes out of here is actually stored in my computer. So I hook this up there with the USB cable, and like I said, this just serves as remote control. I could scroll through with these, choose what track I want, choose the sound I want to use. I could start recording and stop recording easily with the press of a button. Alright, this is my DigiDesign M-Box. Basically, the sole purpose of this is to bring sound in and out of the computer. So you just hook it up to the computer. You could throw mics in here and record directly into the computer with that. You could put the MIDI keyboard in through here. You could put an actual keyboard into here. And you could take sound into the computer and bring it out to the PA speakers. Alright, this is my microphone. And this right here just protects it from, getting too many S's or T's or anything like that when recording vocals. This is the main microphone I use. It's a condenser microphone, and what's pretty interesting about it is it only takes in sound right in the front right there. So if you're talking with it upside down or from behind, it's not really going to pick it up that well. Mainly what I'll use this for is vocals. Sometimes I'll do like bongos or something light like that, percussion, but I won't really use it for any loud things like a bass, guitar, anything that's could damage it really. Alright, this is my mixer. It's a Mackie 1202VL Z3. It's 12 tracks. You can see track 5 through 12 are doubled up on each track. And this is basically the last thing everything goes through before it comes out to speakers. Alright, this is probably my favorite program. This is Reason. This is the program that has all the sounds I use on the MIDI keyboard stored in here. And I do most of my recording on here, just mainly through the keyboard though. I don't record bass or vocals into here. That goes into Pro Tools or Live. But as you can see, I got a setup for us. Down here you have all the actual audio that's been recorded. These are all different sound banks, drums, basses, leads, pianos, and that right all there, you see the red, the blues, those are all the things that are actually recorded, so you can edit them in there. Alright, this is Ableton Live. This is a really cool program. This is more focused toward the DJ end of things. You can still record with the MIDI keyboard right in here. I found the sounds aren't usually as good as Reason, so I usually just record my stuff in Reason, bring it into here, and I start editing. This is basically where most of the editing goes into before I do the mastering in Pro Tools. Alright, this is one of the more major programs I use. It's called Pro Tools. And this is basically the last thing I'll put any of my songs through. I use this for a lot of mastering, mixing. I don't really do too much recording right into Pro Tools, but you can. And what you start off just a blank grid like this, you can make a new track, and then you could select what kind of track you want. You can have just an audio track. You could have a MIDI track where you can use Reason to go right into it and record keyboards on there, but it's kind of a lengthy process. And I'm not going to show you that all right now. You can have a master fader, which will just control every track on here. So you can bring the volume up. It's turning all the volume up and down. And there's just a lot of cool little things you can do. You can reverse a sound, make the whole song play backwards with just a couple seconds. Right, this is actually what started it all for me. This is my bass. I've been playing bass since about 4th grade, and I'll consider this my main instrument.
Why did you select these particular types of equipment, and how do they enhance your music creating process?
Well, it just makes everything a lot easier using the things that I have, because things that, even 10 years ago would take you an hour, 2 hours, a whole day to do, you can do in seconds or even, minutes now. So it cuts down the time a lot. It makes everything a lot quicker. You can customize everything that you're doing more. So, you could have a whole keyboard, set up to 5 different things for one song, as opposed to having a different instrument and having to run back and forth, stop, play, record. You can do it all, in seconds.
That's nice. Well, where did you go to school, and what sort of classes did you take?
I went to the Institute of Audio Research in New York City, and they just basically gave classes on everything production, whether it be post-production for movies and audio, pre-production, all in studio working with musicians, all the editing, working with Reason, Pro Tools, MIDI stuff. They just covered everything, so it's very well-rounded.
How was teaching at the university so unique?
It was unique because instead of just having just normal teachers come in and tell you exactly what's from the book, you have actual people who have been in the audio industry for years, some of them even up to 50 years, and they've got a lot of work. They've worked with major musicians, they've been all over, they're very diverse, and instead of just giving you just the information, which they do, they give you their experiences and their opinions on how to do these things. It's much more personal, and you learn from the people you're going to be working with. So right off the bat, they're letting you into their community.
Well, can you explain their job placement and how it helped you?
Yeah, the job placement is, I really like it because a lot of places will just, give you what they think you can do, or what they think you should do, what you tell them you're going to do. at Institute of Audio Research, they'll just give you everything. They'll give you the top end jobs that you might not be able to get. They'll give you the low ones that you might want, but some people might not think to tell you. So it's really whatever you want to do, you can try to do. If some places won't give you a high-end job at a big studio, but they'll send you there. And if you really want to work for it, you can work for it. You might not always get it, but if you really work hard enough, there's a good chance you could get in.
Well, today we have met someone who is taking their music making process to the next level. His approach is one of a kind, and his music is gonna raise some eyebrows of anyone who listens. I would like to thank Matt Tripodi. Thank you for joining us today. We hope you enjoyed meeting Mr. Tripodi and will continue to join us for our next show, where you will meet someone who is not afraid to take what they do to the next level. Thank you for joining us, and good day.